Hey everybody, I am Dana Wilson, CEO and Director of Hair Cares Inc. I am your hair advocate. Thank you for joining our series called Root to Tip, our 7-part series. Today is series episode 5, and 5 is shifting the lock paradigm. So we'll get started in about 2 minutes. So see you then. Hey everybody, I am Dana Wilson. I am the director and CEO of Hair Cares Inc. I'm your hair advocate. Um, what makes me your hair advocate? I am a certified trichologist, a sister like educator and coach. I am a bio research assistant, a certified co-capper, a veteran, and I am a proud mother of a son who's on the autism spectrum. So, we have been enjoying my Root to Tip series. It's been a 7-part series, and today is part 5, which is called Shifting the Lock Paradigm. This series is sponsored by my upcoming class. The upcoming class is called Trico Essentials for Locks, and it was designed for the natural hair practitioner, such as a sister lock consultant or a loctician their who want to level up their knowledge about hair loss. In the class, you'll learn how to identify the various kinds of hair loss. You learn the do's and don'ts in regards to preventing hair loss. You'll also learn some protocols and practices to maintain your clients to have healthy locks and healthy hair. So if you see me looking down, I got my notes listed. I don't even depend on my memory anymore. So I don't want to forget to tell you something. So I do have my notes. This class also is a prerequisite to my Trico affiliate program as well. The class is going to be on September the 19th at 10 a.m. It's going to be via Zoom. And let me put up the website that you can go to, www.tricolocks.com, if you want to register for your class. It really is designed for that natural hair practitioner who wants to be a hair advocate, who maybe hadn't had that formal education like a cosmetologist, but you're absolutely concerned with the health of your client's hair and you want to learn more about it. You want to be the first line of defense for your clientele. So this series is sponsored by this particular class. So Today's topic is shifting the lock paradigm. Let me start by sharing. Like I said, I'm a veteran. I was in the Air Force, and when I first got my locks done, which was in the year 2000, I mean, I didn't see anybody in the military with sister locks. And I knew sister locks was the best option for me because they were small and stylable, and I knew that the traditional locks were not going to cut it in regulation with the military. So I never had an issue with my hair because they look like very small, stylable braids. And so braids was definitely within regulation. So I didn't have any problems for at least the first 10 years. And I got stationed in the DC area. And I remember I don't know, it was a sergeant who came up to me and said, Sergeant Wilson, she was an African American woman, and the reason you'll understand why I said that. She came up to me. She said, "Sergeant Wilson, welcome here." And I said, "Okay, great, welcome, thank you." And she said, "The first sergeant is looking for you." And I said, "Oh, okay." Well, that wasn't really unusual because a lot of times you have a meeting with the first sergeant when you first get to you got reassigned. So I went looking for the first sergeant since she said that he was looking for me. And so I went to the first sergeant's office and I said, "Sir, you were looking for me?" And he said, "Well, I wasn't, but come on in." I said, "Okay." And he said to me, "Hey, what would you say if somebody had a problem with your hair?" And I said, "I would say that my hair was within regulation, so I wouldn't understand why." And he said, "Well, absolutely right." And basically I found out that that same young lady who approached me, I guess there were conversations about my hair, and they actually went to him, and they had, or she had, the problem with my hair, and I guess that's why she told me that he wanted to see me, and it wasn't true. But bottom line, he said, "I have a wife who wears her hair natural. There's nothing in the regulation that says you can't wear your hair the way it is, as long as it's pulled up." Because I always kept it in the bob so that it was within, um, regulations in that regard. So I just thought it was strange that it was another African American woman who had issues with my hair and just didn't know how to say it. But I was within, bottom line, I was within regulation. So I just moseyed on with life like I had been for all those 10 years. However, I think it was around 2011, that next year or something, um, the regulation had changed. And it was a lot of verbiage in there about not having locks. However, it didn't describe what I had because it was talking about the hair being matted, but you were authorized to have an interlock or a braid, which really described what I had. And so for me, I was just ready to defend if I needed to, but it has I started getting questioned a lot about my hair at that time. But bottom line, I made it out without having to cut my hair. I ended up getting out around, I think that was 2012. So I made it out without having to cut my hair. And that was a great thing. But I do know right thereafter, because many people had started getting sister locks in the military. Um, they changed the regulation, and I know it was so many people in support and really help defend it, that the military changed their, I think it was the Marines that did it first. They changed the regulation that allowed for locks, which I'm so grateful and thankful that happened, because for an African American woman in the military, dealing with your hair, needing to be ready to work out because you're sweating, deploying, the fast pace of life. It was really a challenge to figure out what you were going to do to your hair and be presentable in your uniform after being sweating from the gym, or just being ready to go. And then deployment, a lot of times those deployments, you're in the space in which it is very, very hot. So either people were getting relaxers just because they needed to manage their hair, or they were getting braids or something like that. So kudos to those people who fought, and the military decided to change that. Now airmen and soldiers and um, any military group of folks, now you can concentrate on your job. You're wearing a uniform. You don't have to worry about your hair. You can be present and be ready to go to take care of the mission. So part of shifting the lock paradigm was actually the military regulations changing. That's one of the things that I acknowledge. The next shift would be, obviously, we have a Supreme Court Justice, Brown Jackson. She has, I think they're sister locks, but at the core of it, there's some kind of interlocking system that she is, hair management system that she's using on her hair. And I'm going to tell you, I was just like in amazement watching like the confirmation hearings, and just the idea that not only we have an African American on the Supreme Court, but she is rocking her locks and they are beautiful. Just seeing those locks on the national stage um, clearly shift the paradigm of locks, change the whole trajectory of locks, because a little girl could look at her and say, I can wear my hair natural and I can go as far as I could dream of. So that was huge, huge, huge. I mean, I had such great pride watching her, um, just being an African American woman, but let alone she was rocking those locks just like me. And so that even shifted some things inside of me. I felt so proud to be part of the lock lifestyle. And then the last thing for me, obviously, is the Crown Act. And I think I talked about this last week. We have to continue the work to continue to do a full shift here, right? The Crown Act is an act that was designed or created because some of our children are, and some of us are still being discriminated against in regards to our natural hair texture. We need to be able to go anywhere and do any activity, whether that's a team sport, and not have to alter our hair and not be discriminated because we have locks or we have braids or we have twists. Every culture group or every race has a different curl pattern or hair texture. And it is not fair for someone to regulate how we're wearing our hair to do our job, unless there's some kind of safety issue that's involved. Um, there's really no cause for that. So we need to continue to work with getting this bill passed. I believe there's 18 states right now that have passed that in this law. But please, please go to the crownact.com and check out and see if your state is one of those states who have passed it into law. And if not, you got to get busy. We need to help our children and make sure that they're not discriminated against of being themselves and having that next natural texture just flow out of their scalps and have no problem with fulfilling their dreams and doing activities that they've always wanted to do. Again, the whole point of this series is obviously to I'm sharing my personal story with you. I'm sharing my professional story with you as well. And then also this series is sponsoring my class, which is Trico Essentials for Locks. Trico Essentials, Trico Essentials for Locks is essentially my way of advocating for knowing more about hair loss. So although we have this beautiful natural hair and a lot of people are rocking it and it's great, I'm glad to see that, because in 2000 it wasn't the same way. However, now we're dealing with hair loss. Okay, and so we also have to fight that good fight. So we need to do things simultaneously. We need to continue the work of fighting for us to wear the hair natural, and we also need to fight against hair loss and the misconceptions of hair loss. And we need to learn how to be the first line of defense for our clients who may not be able to see that some changes are happening in their hair and on their scalp. And we want to be knowledgeable as a natural hair practitioner. We want to be knowledgeable so that we can let them know, hey, something's off here. But the only way to do that is to actually learn what the various hair losses are, or alopecia is the same thing. Being able to identify it right away, some do's and don'ts about how we as a practitioner can prevent hair loss as well, and then learn some practicing protocols that we can implement that will help our clients keep those beautiful locks on the hair. So, like I said before, if you're interested, go to tricolocks.com and check it out. My main website is haircaresinc.com if you want to check me out as well. You guys can also follow me on Facebook and IG, and I also on YouTube. Just follow me, you guys. I really enjoy sharing this information with you, and I hope that it has been helpful to you. Next week, I never, for some reason, I'm never prepared with what next week's topic is. Oh, I know. Next week's topic is save our scalps. Save our scalps. It's possible. Save our scalps. That's what's going to happen for next Monday. So I hope you enjoy. I'll see you guys. Have a good week.